That's right. We are expecting Anne-Marie Schubert and Daniel Hahn to speak momentarily. We're going to give them the microphone as soon as they step up and get there, making their way from the building to that podium right now. So let's turn it over to them, and we'll have this live on this radio.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us this morning. We have some very important information to share with all of you. We have multiple speakers that will address the crowd this morning, and you'll have all been given a sheet with the list of speakers with all the correct spelling. Two additional speakers that will be speaking this morning will be Commander Aaron Johnson from the Roanoke Park Police Department. And in addition to him will be Councilmember Angelique Ashby from the City of Sacramento. As we start this, I will introduce our first speaker today, and that will be Sacramento County District Attorney Anne-Marie Schubert.
Good morning, everybody. In addition to the speakers that you have on the list, I want to also acknowledge that present with us today is Davis Deputy Police Chief David Delani. The answer has always been in the DNA. For over 27 years, the individual who came to be known as the NorCal Rapist victimized at least 10 women across Northern California, including right here in the city of Sacramento. It began in 1991, and it went on for over 15 years. As I have said many times before, cold cases often become a journey for justice. For law enforcement, prosecutors, crime victims, their families, crime lab professionals, elected officials, and in many cases, for the communities that were so deeply affected by that crime. For 27 years, that has been the case with this case. A case that has impacted at least 6 Northern California counties: Sonoma, Solano, Contra Costa, Yolo, Butte, and lastly here in Sacramento. For 27 years, there has been one common thread: his DNA. I have often said in my career that DNA is the silent witness to the truth. For 27 years, that truth was not known until now. Through an incredible partnership between science and passionate police work, the answer that many have waited so long has come to us in the last 10 days. In those last 10 days, that partnership of science and passionate police work provided the answer right here in this building in our crime lab. Over the last 10 days, the Sacramento Police Department, the DA's office, our crime lab professionals, law enforcement worked tirelessly to find that answer to get to this point today. The last time we had a press conference here, it was ironic because it was National DNA Day. Today, this week, it is also ironic that it is National Forensic Science Week. It is fitting that we provide the answer to the NorCal Rapist case today. And with that, I introduce Police Chief Daniel Hahn to give you that information.
Good morning. We are here today to announce the arrest of a suspect who we believe is responsible for numerous horrific crimes where he terrorized women in jurisdictions throughout Northern California, typically for hours at a time. I'd like to give you a brief overview of the series as seen on the map to my left. At this point, what we know is this started in 1991 in Roanoke Park, and over the next 15 years had several sexual assaults in Roanoke Park, Sonoma, Vallejo, Martinez, Woodland, Chico, 2 sexual assaults in Davis, and ending here in Sacramento in 2006. Yesterday, Sacramento police detectives arrested Roy Charles Waller, a 58-year-old man living in Benicia. Waller was arrested yesterday in Berkeley as he arrived to work. The suspect is married and has had the same job for the last 25 years. We have confirmed via DNA that Waller is the suspect in many of these crimes. Thanks, as the DA said, thanks to the hard work of all the detectives and the forensic investigators at the Sacramento Police Department and other jurisdictions represented today. They never let this case go, and today we bring justice to not only the victims, but all the communities that he impacted. Through the hard work of these women and men, we made our community safer yesterday and removed a predator from our streets. This case reinforces the importance of forensic work and our advances in this area. Being that this week is National Forensic Science Week, it's very appropriate that this is the week that this predator gets caught. This case could not have been solved today were it not for the hard work of crime scene investigators collecting important evidence over years, along with the great work of the criminalists who do DNA work in the building behind me. I know that there will be tremendous amount of public interest and questions you will have in this case. Please understand that this is a complicated investigation involving a number of law enforcement agencies with a significant amount of work still to be done. Through the tireless efforts of investigators, there is one less dangerous predator on our streets this morning. Unfortunately, we will be limited in what questions we can answer, but I would like to introduce a detective that has worked on this case from the very beginning, Detective Avis. And with that, I'd like to introduce Detective Beery.
Thank you, Chief, and thank you for everybody for being here today. I can tell you that I've been waiting a really long time for this day to come. I never gave up hope that this day would come, and because of really, truly exhaustive efforts by everyone involved, all of the law enforcement officials, crime lab, district attorney's office, everybody that has worked on this case and has touched it in some way, they have been able to make this case come to fruition. I spoke with one of the victims this morning, and briefly and not very long ago, and she was overcome and over the top with emotion and happiness to see that this person is in custody and that no one else has to worry about him anymore. The victims in this case can stop looking over their shoulders. No one else has to worry about this happening to them. And they are truly, the victims in this case, the strongest people I know and the bravest people I know. I can tell you just a little bit about the suspect's MO, the suspect's method of operation. He would enter houses, usually late at night. Sometimes the victims would be asleep. Sometimes they would be going about their activities in the evening. He would overcome them. He would bind them and then repeatedly sexually assault them. He would ransack their homes, and sometimes he would kidnap the victims and take them to ATMs where he would get money out of their accounts, and other times he would steal personal items from their homes. As the chief and as Anne-Marie Schubert, our district attorney, has already mentioned, this case was made on DNA. And I can't say enough about the importance of that and the happiness that we feel at this time that we have been able to link that DNA to an actual individual. We have worked on this case, law enforcement in general, for over 2 decades now, and I myself for 12 years. And we are looking at the possibility that there could be other related cases out there. So we would like to encourage anyone at this time, if they believe that they might be a victim of this individual, to please give us a call at the crime tip number, which is 916-808-1SPD. And I would like at this time to turn the podium over to Council Member Ashby from District 1 in Natomas. And thank you very much for your time.
Good morning. What a great day for justice, for victims everywhere, for Sacramento. I wanted to be here today because the last known issue here in Sacramento happened in North Natomas, and I am very glad that today is the beginning of a day for justice for the women that live in North Natomas. I'm also incredibly proud of the Sacramento Police Department. And on days like this, it is important to remember that having the resources to pursue crimes, even if it takes over a decade, is incredibly important. The city of Sacramento is proud to have detectives like this, have a CSI lab. There have been times that CSI has been cut, and during those times it would have been very difficult to have a day like today. So when we think about the future for our region and how we place resources and how we value lives and property and the safety of individuals who live in the city of Sacramento, let today be a terrific reminder of what happens when we have those resources. I'm also incredibly proud of District Attorney Anne Marie Schubert. Her compassion and her pure commitment to DNA and to avenging victims is incredible, and we are quite fortunate to have her here in Sacramento. As you know, this involves many, many counties, but it ends here. It ends today in Sacramento, and I'm very grateful to our police department and our district attorney, every member of the police department, the crime scene unit, and the detectives who worked tirelessly on this for so long. Thank you very much. I have the pleasure of introducing one of our regional partners, another terrific district attorney from our neighboring county, Yolo, Mr. Jeff Reason.
Today, another sexual predator who terrorized Northern California for 15 years has been captured, thanks to DNA and the solid investigative work by the Sacramento Police Department and the good work of the Sacramento DA's office and their crime lab. Like other sadistic predators of his kind, the suspect in this case was a real-life boogeyman who crept into his victims' homes under the cover of darkness and attacked them when they were most vulnerable. His days of inflicting such terror are over. We believe Yolo County has victims from Davis and Woodland, one in 1996, two in 1997, and one in 2000. As I stand here today, we are still in the process of notifying victims. Over the next several days and weeks and months, we will continue to work closely with the Sacramento Police Department and all of our allied police agencies in investigating this case and coordinating the prosecution with the Sacramento DA's office. Once again, I want to thank the Sacramento Police Department for their outstanding police work on this. They never gave up. And I want to thank the Sacramento DA's office and the crime lab, but for which this case may have never been solved. Thank you. With that, I'd like to introduce Chief Deputy District Attorney from Sonoma County, Brian Sabol.
We would like to echo the comments that have been made here today to thank the Sacramento Police Department, the Sacramento DA's office, for their hard work and their persistence in this case, particularly Detective Beery, spending over a decade working on this case and never giving up. We are moving forward with next steps. We have two incidents that occurred in Sonoma County, one from 1991 in the city of Roanoke Park, one from 1992 in the city of Sonoma. We are looking forward to further investigating and doing everything we need to do to look at the totality of the evidence in this case and working with our partner agencies, DA's offices, to figure out what is the next step for us moving forward. We have reached out to the 2 victims in Sonoma County. We've been in contact with them, and I can again echo Detective Beery's comments that these individuals are extremely relieved and happy with this development. We would also encourage anyone that does have information, believes they have information about these incidents from 91 and 92 to come forward, contact either the tip line, the number that's been given here today, or to contact the Roanoke Park Department of Public Safety or the Sonoma County Sheriff's Department. And with that, I'd like to turn the podium over to Commander Aaron Johnson with the Roanoke Park Department of Public Safety.
Good morning. I know we've said thank you, but I think when we look at the Code of Ethics, the relentless prosecution of criminals is an example of what has gone on here in this case. In 1991, this case started in what we believe started in Roanoke Park. I had the fortune to work with the Sacramento Police Department in 2006, as well as the Yolo County District Attorney's Office with the development of some leads. And then, as we know, this case lied dormant. As we thought it was lying dormant, much to our surprise, Sacramento was still doing a massive amount of work. And today, we come to the realization that their hard work pays off. And so, we too would like to express our gratitude, our opportunity to work in partnership with the Sonoma County District Attorney's Office, as well as all of the local agencies that you see here. Again, if you feel that you've been victimized by this subject and you live in the area of Roanoke Park, we would ask that you call our crime tips line at 707-584-TIPS, or you can call our dispatch line or get our information from the website. Again, our sincere gratitude to all of the hard work. And with that, I would like to introduce the Solano County District Attorney, Krishna Abrams.
Good morning. On behalf of Solano County, I want to commend our law enforcement partners, specifically Sacramento Police Department, for their perseverance and their unwavering commitment to seeking justice for over 26 years in our case. None of us here can imagine what these women endured at the hands of this man, and to have him, this attacker, still living amongst them on the streets is quite chilling. So I think for all of us standing here today, this is a big day for all of us. No matter, over the years, no matter the difficulties and the challenges the police department's faced, I feel like they never gave up trying to solve this case, and which speaks volumes to their dedication to duty of protecting and serving all of our communities. I look forward to working with all the colleagues here, and so that we can make sure that justice is done for every single victim involved in these cases. And with that, I will turn it over to Contra Costa District Attorney Dinah Becton.
Good morning. Today, we can bring some closure to the victim in Contra Costa County who was attacked in Martinez on Halloween in 1996. The latest development with this case underscores how law enforcement will never give up on a case. We will always pursue justice for our victims. 10 years after the attack in Contra Costa County, our office filed a John Doe complaint with a specific DNA profile of the same individual. With the complaint, there was a John Doe warrant for $500,000. We filed a complaint to preserve the statute of limitations for some of the counts in this case. A total of 12 felony counts were included in the complaint. The advances in DNA technology and law enforcement strategy on linking these crimes together will help our ability to prosecute the case. The assailant in this case traumatized our victim, threatened the safety of Contra Costa County, and terrorized multiple communities across Northern California. I want to thank District Attorney Anne-Marie Schubert and her staff, Chief Daniel Hahn, and Lead Detective Avis for their commitment to seek justice for our victim in this case and for all victims associated with this serial rapist. Thankfully, we can now hold someone responsible for these crimes and seek justice for all of the victims. Our victim advocate staff has reached out to the victim in this case to offer services, assistance, and support, and our victim is grateful. My office will remain in close contact with DA Schubert's office as we work together to prosecute this case and seek justice for all of the victims. It is now my pleasure to introduce Butte County District Attorney, the Honorable Michael Ramsay.
Thank you, Diane. We are the people farthest north in Butte County in Chico. Our victim, and I want to speak a little bit about our victim, that was an extraordinarily brave victim, because the DNA in our case comes from her stabbing the defendant in the arm. And the man that tried to clean up the crime scene was unsuccessful because there was too much blood. He could not cover his sins, his crime, and we owe a great deal to a very, very brave victim. We also owe a great deal to the Sacramento County District Attorney's Office and the Sacramento Police Department in seeking over these years the ability and bringing the awesome ability of DNA to make justice today, and as we go through the various months and seeing that that justice will be done. And since I'm the only person in between you and your questions, I will turn it back on over to District Attorney Dan Ray.
Just to end this out, 2 days ago, our office, the DA's office, filed a felony complaint charging Mr. Waller with 12 counts of forcible sexual assault. In addition to those 12 counts, there are allegations that he used a gun. There are also what we call enhancements, which, when convicted, will carry a life term. The bail was set at no bail. He's currently in custody. His arraignment date will be set for Monday, this coming Monday at 1:30 in Department 63. With that, I'll turn it over to Debbie Chandler to field some questions.
What was the link?
Length of.
How'd you get to him? How'd you find him?
At this time, we will take some questions. Before we take any questions, I do want to remind everyone that this is a very active investigation and it is ongoing. We have detectives working this case as we speak, and we do not want to jeopardize anything that we have going on right now. So keep in mind that we are only able to provide limited information. With that being said, we will field some questions right now.
What can you tell us about the suspect? He was living in Benicia. What was he doing? I mean, where was he working, and how did the arrest go down? Where did that take place exactly? At his place of work?
We do know that he does reside in Benicia, and yesterday our detectives arrested him in the city of Berkeley. That's what we do know right now, and we have his information as indicated on the map right there, next to the map. Roy Waller, 58 years old.
Was he at his workplace in Berkeley, or?
He was near a workplace in Berkeley, yes.
What was his workplace?
The UC Berkeley campus.
What did he do there?
For UC Berkeley?
Yes, we do not know his exact position on campus, but we do know that he did work on campus.
So is he now in the Sacramento County?
Let me finish answering that. We have been in contact with the faculty and staff at the campus of UC Berkeley, and they have been very cooperative, and they are aware of the investigation, and we have been working collaboratively with them to make sure that they are aware of the arrest and our ongoing investigation.
And he had worked there for how many years?
I don't have the specifics of how many years. I do know that he did work on the campus of UC Berkeley.
How did you get to him?
That's all part of our ongoing investigation. I will tell you that our investigators have worked tirelessly to locate him, and yesterday they did make the arrest.
Did you get a DNA sample, or like you did in East Area Rapist?
Okay, so the million-dollar question that Sam wants to know is how was the link made? The link was made through genetic genealogy, through the use of GEDmatch.
You talked
So
about
did a relative upload something? Was it the same type of thing as East Area Rapist?
It's genetic genealogy, that's what I'll say.
Can you say any more? I think you mentioned he was married, had a job, a little
Leave
bit
that
more
to the
about
chief.
him?
I'll stick with the science questions.
Yes, we do know that he is currently married, and we do know that he was employed at the campus of UC Berkeley.
Family? Kids? Kids? Family?
I don't have any of that information right now, but our investigators are working on all that information right now as we speak.
Would you speak to the level of cooperation between law enforcement and who was involved in making the arrest? Were officers in Sacramento there? How did that go down?
So our investigators were there yesterday to make the arrest, and we have been in contact with the allied agencies since we made that arrest.
And what were those agencies?
Well, we have been in contact with the Benicia Police Department and obviously the faculty and staff at the campus of UC Berkeley.
What's the statute of limitations look like as far as the charges go back to 91 in all the different jurisdictions? I mean, we had Contra Costa, which filed, so.
That's a question. Obviously, we've charged our cases here from 2006. Contra Costa filed a John Doe warrant back in 2006. The other counties will be looking at them. It depends on the facts and circumstances. Some of these crimes carry life terms. So if there's a life term alleged, then there's no statute of limitations. So it gets into complex legal areas, but they're going to be looking at all their facts and circumstances in their cases to determine whether the statute has or has not run.
The statute had not expired on the sexual assault cases from Sacramento?
No, it did not, because they're life term allegations and the statute of limitations. There was no statute on these crimes because of laws that were changed.
Sorry, what made them a life term?
What makes this a life term is there's an enhancement under the penal code. It's called the one strike law that was passed in 1994, that if you enter into somebody's home with the intent to commit a rape or a burglary, if you use a weapon, you're engaged in tying or binding of your victims, then you are subject to that one strike law under the penal code, and that makes it a life term. That's what's alleged in this complaint.
Does that cover the 91 case then?
I'm not going to talk about the 91 case if the Sonoma County wants to do that, but it's going to be something that they look at. There's other types of life crimes that they'll be looking at, or we'll be looking at. I'm sure the counties will be looking at.
So 12 counts, 10 victims.
12 counts charged for Sacramento County, 2 victims right now. There's 2 victims from Sacramento County in the police department case. 10 victims across all 6 counties that we know of.
Can you talk about the timeline for consolidating cases?
It's the same kind of answers from the last case, which is that the elected DAs from all these counties will be getting together, having a conversation about what's in the best interest of the prosecution, justice, and primarily the best interest of victims.
Any past criminal history?
I'm not going to get into that. That's all Sergeant Chandler.
At this point, we're not going to talk about any past criminal history. What we do know is that we arrested him yesterday in Benicia.
What's his demeanor? Was he surprised, and is he cooperating?
When we arrested him, our investigators obviously took him into custody, and we transported him over to our station, and he has since been booked at the Sacramento County Main Jail. But just for investigative purposes, we're not going to disclose his demeanor or any comments from him at this time.
Was the genealogy match made in the last 10 days, and that's what led to that?
Yes, the genealogy was done approximately 10 days ago, which led us very quickly to this individual, and within the last 10 days, the police department has undertaken a massive investigation, which culminated yesterday with his arrest.
Previously with the D'Angelo case, you had to go through a couple of family members, as I understand it, in order to get to him. How long did it take to get to him?
Without going into specifics of the relationships in the family tree, I will say this, and I give a lot of kudos to 2 folks in our office, Kirk Campbell and Monica Zakowski, who I call the experts in tree building. And the answer, I will say, was probably record-setting in how fast they were able to determine that Mr. Waller was the person that we were looking for.
I'm sorry, could you say whether he was on the radar previously, or is this just all coming about in the last 2 weeks? You know,
The genetic genealogy came in the last 10 days.
Okay, the D'Angelo case, I think, you know, that was somebody who had been looked at over the years. Is this somebody who's been looked at over the years?
I'm not sure you're accurate on the D'Angelo case,
Okay.
but
Sorry.
Again, to not reveal and jeopardize our investigation, we do know that our detectives have worked tirelessly to identify him along with the DNA, but as far as the timeline, at this point, we're not going to give that information out.
Can you clarify who made the arrest, Vance? Was it Sac PD?
It was the Sacramento Police Department in the city of Berkeley.
Vance, you said now Berkeley and Beach. Where was the arrest made? In Berkeley?
The arrest was made in the city of Berkeley, and he resides in Benicia.
I'm not sure who can answer this, but going back in time, who came up with the name the NorCal Rapist? Where was that developed? The name that he's been called, the NorCal Rapist. Who developed that?
At this time, I don't have that information.
How many total victims do we have, and was he ever a suspect?
So at this time that we are aware of, there are 10 victims. Please keep in mind that we continue to investigate these crimes, and we have provided a number, which is to my left, for any other people who may feel that they may not only be victims, but have information related to any of these crimes.
Are you working with University of California Police? He is a Berkeley employee for any possible sexual assault or consensual assault on that campus.
So we have been in contact with the faculty and the staff on campus, and we have contacted the Berkeley Campus Police Department, and at this time, based on all the information that we have right now, we don't have any indication that any of these crimes have occurred on their campus.
There were other serial rapist cases at the same time, the roaming rapists, others like that. Are you looking to see if you can tie him to any of those?
Our investigators will look at all angles to see what this suspect is responsible for, including any other crimes that he may be connected to.
One of the victims was a UC Davis student. Did Waller have any connection to UC Davis?
We can't answer that at this time.
When you guys approached him, he cooperated? Did he go peacefully?
He was taken into custody without incident. Yes, sir. Well, we thank you all for coming in here. We're going to wrap it up at this time. There will be some speakers that will be available after our press conference. Thank you very much.